Have you ever looked around at the people in your life and felt like you didn't belong? Like no matter how much you tried to connect, there was always an invisible barrier between you and them. If you've ever felt like the outsider, the black sheep, the one who never quite fit in, understand this: you were never meant to. From the moment you were born, you were different. Your spirit was set apart. You were chosen. And because of that, your path was never going to be like everyone else's. You were never meant to blend in. You were meant to stand out. But standing out comes with a price: rejection, betrayal, loneliness. Some of you were abandoned by your own families. Some of you were mocked for thinking differently, dreaming bigger, and questioning what others blindly accepted. The people closest to you never truly saw you, and deep down, you always knew it. But let me tell you something powerful: that loneliness wasn't a mistake, it was part of the plan. John 15:19 says, "If you belong to the world, it would love you as its own. But as it is, you do not belong to the world, but I have chosen you out of the world." You were never supposed to fit in with the people around you because you were destined for something greater. And that's separation. It was God's way of making room for something better. Your true family, the people who truly understand you, are coming. Because here's the truth: not everyone in your life was meant to stay. Some people were placed there to teach you lessons, to challenge you, and yes, even to betray you, because their rejection was the very thing that pushed you toward your divine path. But now, your time of wandering is coming to an end. You are stepping into a new season. And in this season, God is aligning you with your real family, the people who were always meant to walk this journey with you. They may not share your blood, but they share your spirit. They see your light. They recognize your purpose. And most importantly, they will help guide you back to your true destiny. So if you've been feeling lost, if you've been questioning why you've had to walk this road alone for so long, know this: you were never truly alone. God was preparing you. And now, your real family, the ones who will help you step fully into your calling, is about to arrive. Are you ready to receive them? Have you ever wondered why, no matter how much you tried, you could never fully connect with your family? Why the people who were supposed to love and support you always made you feel like an outsider? It wasn't because you were flawed. It wasn't because you were unworthy. It was because you were set apart. From the moment you were born, your spirit carried something different. You had wisdom beyond your years. You had dreams too big for your surroundings. You had an energy that others could not understand. And because of that, instead of embracing you, many people, sometimes even your own family, feared you, resented you, or rejected you. Think back to your childhood. Did you ever feel like you were speaking a language that no one else could understand? You may have asked deep questions that made others uncomfortable. You may have challenged traditions that didn't make sense to you, while others were content with the way things were. You felt something stirring inside you, and knowing that there was more. But when you tried to express that, you were shut down, dismissed, or even ridiculed. Maybe you had family members who constantly criticized you, who tried to make you feel small, who belittled your vision. Maybe you were the scapegoat, the one blamed for everything, even when it wasn't your fault. Maybe you felt invisible, like no one ever truly saw you for who you were. And the hardest part? Some of the people who rejected you the most were the ones you loved the most. But hear me, none of this was by accident. God did not make a mistake in placing you in the family you were born into. He knew exactly what He was doing. The rejection, the misunderstandings, the loneliness, it was all part of your training. Because in order to step into your divine purpose, you had to be refined. You had to be strengthened. You had to learn who you were without the validation of others. Think about Joseph in the Bible. He had a dream, a vision from God, and instead of being celebrated, His own brothers hated him for it. They were jealous. They resented his calling. They wanted to destroy him. So they threw him into a pit, sold him into slavery, and tried to erase his destiny. But what they meant for harm, God used for good. If Joseph had stayed with his brothers, he would have never stepped into his true power. If he had remained in the place where he was not valued, he would have never become the ruler God destined him to be. And the same is true for you. The reason you never fit in with your biological family is because you were never meant to stay in the same cycles they lived in. You were never meant to think the way they thought, to settle for the life they settled for. You were meant to break generational curses. You were meant to rise higher. You were meant to step into something greater. John 1:11 says, "He came unto his own, and his own received him not." Even Jesus himself was rejected by his own people. So why would it be any different for you? But here's the truth that will set you free. Their rejection was God's redirection. If they had accepted you, you might have become too comfortable. If they had validated you, you might have stayed in a place that was never meant for you. God had to allow the rejection because he knew it would push you towards something greater. And here's the most powerful part. You are not alone. There are countless others like you, chosen ones, who have walked this same path, who have experienced the same pain, who have faced the same trials. And now, in this season, God is bringing you together. Your true family, the ones who will see you, uplift you, and walk with you into your divine purpose, is on their way. So do not mourn what was lost. Do not chase after those who could not see your worth. What is ahead of you is far greater than anything you left behind. Can you feel it? A shift is happening, and soon you will see why everything had to happen exactly as it did. For so long, you have walked this road alone. You have faced battles with no one to support you, carried burdens that no one else understood, and endured struggles that seemed never-ending. You've prayed, cried, and wondered, why do I always have to do this by myself? But listen carefully, your time of isolation is coming to an end. You see, God has always had a plan for you. He was never going to let you walk this path forever in solitude. He was preparing you, strengthening you, teaching you how to rely on him alone. And now, because you have been faithful, because you have endured, because you have not given up, your real family is on their way. But this won't be the kind of family you've known before. This isn't about blood. This isn't about who shares your last name. This is about spiritual connection, about divine alignment. Your real family are the ones who see you for who you truly are. They recognize your spirit. They understand your journey. They don't ask you to shrink yourself, to dim your light, or to change who you are just to make them comfortable. Instead, they encourage you to step fully into your power. These are the people who will uplift you when you're weary, who will remind you of your purpose when you start to doubt, who will walk beside you as you step into the destiny God has prepared for you. Jesus spoke about this very thing in Matthew 12:48-50, when people told him that his mother and brothers were outside, looking for him. He said, "Who is my mother and who are my brothers?" Then he pointed to his disciples and said, "Here are my mother and my brothers. For whoever does the will of my Father in heaven is my brother and sister and mother." Do you see what he was saying? Your real family isn't determined by blood. It's determined by spirit. And that is why God has been removing certain people from your life. Some of you have lost relationships, walked away from friendships, or been separated from those you once thought would be with you forever. And at the time, it hurt. It felt like loss. But it wasn't loss, it was alignment. God was making room. He was clearing out the people who could not go where he is taking you. Because the truth is, not everyone in your life was meant to stay. Some people were seasonal. Some were placed in your life to teach you lessons, to challenge you, and yes, even to betray you. because their rejection pushed you closer to God. But now, you are entering a new season. A season where you will no longer walk alone. A season where you will finally be surrounded by those who understand your journey. And when you meet them, something inside you will just know. There won't be any pretending. No more forcing connections that don't feel right. With them, you will feel at home. So be ready, stay open, keep walking forward. Your true family is closer than you think. And when they arrive, you will understand why God had to separate you from the wrong people, because He was preparing you for the right ones. Now that you understand why you never fit in and why certain people had to leave your life, the next step is embracing the new season ahead. Because this is not just about finding your real family, it's about stepping into the destiny that was written for you before time began. For so long, you have fought battles on your own. You've carried your dreams, your pain, and your purpose in silence. You've tried to explain your vision to people who couldn't see it. And you've tried to bring others along on your journey, only to realize they were never meant to go with you. But now, everything is shifting. God is placing people in your life who will not only see your potential, but will help activate it. People who won't be threatened by your greatness, but will encourage it. People who will pray for you, speak life over you, and help you stay strong when the enemy tries to break you down. Because make no mistake, the closer you get to your purpose, the more the enemy will try to stop you. He will send distractions, delays, and even deceivers. People who seem supportive on the surface, but whose true mission is to lead you astray. That's why discernment is so important in this season. Not everyone who smiles at you is for you. Not everyone who claps for you wants to see you win. But here's the good news: God will reveal the truth. That's why you went through so much isolation, because you had to learn how to hear His voice above all others. Now, as your real family arrives, you will recognize them. Your spirit will resonate with theirs. There will be no doubt, no confusion, only clarity, and together, you will rise. Because when chosen ones unite, the power that is released is undeniable. Chains break, generational curses end, purpose is fulfilled. This is why the enemy tried so hard to isolate you. This is why you had to experience betrayal and rejection. Because if you had stayed where you were, surrounded by the wrong people, your power would have been diminished. You would have spent your life trying to fit in, rather than standing out the way you were meant to. But now, you are walking fully into your divine assignment. So don't be afraid. Don't hesitate. Don't let fear hold you back. You were born for this. You have been prepared for this moment. And now, as you walk forward, surrounded by the right people, aligned with the right purpose, nothing will stop you from becoming everything you were meant to be. This is your time. Step boldly into it. You've walked through the fire. You've endured the storms. You've stood alone, questioning why your journey was filled with so much struggle and isolation. But now, the truth is clear: you were never meant to fit in, because you were always meant to lead. This is the season where you must fully embrace your calling. No more doubting yourself. No more second-guessing your purpose. No more looking back, wondering if you should return to the places and people that could never see your worth. The past is gone. The old version of you no longer exists. The world is shifting, and God's chosen ones are rising. That includes you. You are being positioned, elevated, and aligned with others who carry the same divine fire within them. You are stepping into your role as a leader, a healer, a guide for others who are lost. But remember, this is not just about you. God didn't set you apart only for your own growth. He set you apart so that you could help awaken others. Your story, your struggles, your pain, it all serves a greater purpose. There are people out there right now who are where you once were, lost, alone, confused, feeling like they don't belong. And they need you. They need to hear your voice. They need to see your strength. They need to know that if you made it through, they can too. This is why God has brought your true spiritual family into your life so you don't have to carry this mission alone. Together, you will build, inspire, and create. Together, you will break cycles, tear down strongholds, and bring light into places that have been trapped in darkness. So now the choice is yours. Will you step fully into your divine assignment? Will you embrace the people God has sent into your life? Will you let go of everything that no longer serves your higher purpose? This is your confirmation. You are ready. The time is now. No more fear, no more hesitation. The journey you have been preparing for your whole life begins today. Walk boldly into your destiny. Your true family is waiting. You have felt the weight of isolation, the sting of rejection, and the confusion of not belonging. But now, you see the truth. It was all part of the divine plan. You were never lost, you were being set apart. You were never abandoned, you were being prepared. And now, the time has come for you to step fully into who you were always meant to be. Your real family, your spiritual family is here. The ones who understand you without explanation, who see your spirit before they see your appearance, who uplift and strengthen you rather than drain and diminish you. These are the people God has aligned for your journey. And now that they are arriving, you must embrace them with open arms. But remember, this is just the beginning. Finding your true family is not the destination, it is the foundation upon which your destiny will be built. Now, more than ever, you must move with wisdom, discernment, and courage, because the world needs you. You were not chosen to sit on the sidelines. You were not set apart to remain silent. You have a mission, a calling, a divine purpose that must be fulfilled. The battles you've faced were never meant to break you, they were meant to make you unstoppable. So now, stand tall, walk forward, step into your destiny without fear, because this is your time. Your true family has arrived, your purpose is waiting, and the world is ready for the light only you can bring. The need for approval is a cage, and chosen ones, you were never meant to live in a cage. From the moment you were born, the world tried to shape you into something you were never meant to be. It told you to fit in, to be liked, to gain acceptance from people who will never truly understand the depth of your calling. But here's the truth, you were not chosen to be accepted. You were chosen to stand out. Many of you feel the weight of constantly seeking validation, whether from family, friends, society, or even strangers. You dim your light, you shrink your presence, and you silence your voice just to avoid rejection. But what if I told you that seeking approval is the very thing keeping you from stepping into your divine power? The more you chase validation, the further you drift from the path God has set for you. Because when you seek approval from people, you hand them control over your destiny. But deep inside, you already know this, don't you? You feel it, the frustration, the exhaustion, the emptiness of constantly trying to prove yourself. You try to please others, only to feel unseen. You do what's expected, only to feel unfulfilled. And yet, something inside you whispers that there's more, that you were not meant to follow the crowd but to lead with purpose. Think about the great ones who came before you, those who carried divine missions. Did they ever fit in? No, they were misunderstood, rejected, cast aside by the very people they were sent to help. Moses had to walk alone. Joseph was betrayed by his own brothers. Jesus himself was despised and rejected by the world. Yet, none of them sought the approval of men. They walked boldly in their purpose, despite the opposition, because they understood one thing: their calling was not given to them by people, so it could never be taken away by people. And the same applies to you. You were chosen by a higher power. Your mission was assigned before you were even born. So why waste another moment trying to convince people who will never see what God has placed within you today? I'm here to tell you it's time to break free. It's time to stop waiting for the world to validate what God has already confirmed within you. The path ahead may be lonely. It may be misunderstood, but make no mistake, you were not called to be ordinary. You were called to be extraordinary. So let go of the fear. Let go of the need for approval. Step boldly into the power that has always been yours. Because when you finally stop seeking validation, you will unlock the greatest truth of all: you were enough all along. From the moment you took your first breath, the world began shaping you. Before you even knew who you truly were, you were being taught how to behave, what to believe, and most dangerously, how to seek approval. It started at home, where love and acceptance often felt conditional. A smile, a nod of approval, or a word of encouragement only seemed to come when you did what was expected of you. If you colored inside the lines, followed the rules, and stayed within the boundaries that others set for you, you were rewarded. But if you strayed, if you questioned, if you expressed something different from the norm, you were met with silence, disapproval, or even punishment. This pattern repeated itself in school, where you were taught to obey rather than to think for yourself. You were taught to seek gold stars, good grades, and praise from teachers, not to embrace your individuality or question the system. You were programmed to believe that success meant pleasing authority figures, fitting in with the crowd, and blending into the mold that was already created for you. Your worth was measured by how well you conformed, not by how brightly your soul could shine. Then came society, an even greater force of conditioning. Everywhere you turned, you were bombarded with messages that reinforced the need for external validation. The media, social norms, cultural expectations, all of it designed to make you believe that happiness, success, and even love could only come if you were approved by others. That you needed to be liked, that you needed to be accepted, that your value was something to be earned, rather than something that was already within you. And for the chosen ones, this programming was even more intense, because deep down, you always knew you were different. You always felt a greater calling, a deeper wisdom, an inner knowing that didn't align with the world's shallow standards. But instead of embracing it, you were taught to suppress it, to hide your light, to tone yourself down just to fit in. You learned to silence your truth because every time you tried to express it, you faced resistance. You were told you were too much, too intense, too different. So you did what you were trained to do. You shrank yourself just to be accepted. But here's the truth. Seeking approval is a form of control. The world has designed a system that keeps people in line, that keeps them afraid to stand out, that keeps them from tapping into their true power. Because the moment you stop seeking approval, you become unstoppable. When you no longer need permission to be who you are. When you stop caring about what people think. When you release the fear of rejection, that is when you truly begin to step into your destiny. The greatest leaders, visionaries, and chosen ones throughout history never sought approval. They didn't wait for permission to be great. They didn't conform to what was expected. They broke free from it. They walked their path boldly, even if it meant walking alone. And now, you are being called to do the same. This is your wake-up call. It's time to break free from the programming. It's time to stop looking outward for validation and start looking inward for truth. The world doesn't define your worth. The opinions of others do not determine your destiny. You were chosen for a reason, and the only approval you ever needed was already given to you by the Creator. So let go of the need to be liked. Let go of the need to be understood. Let go of the fear of rejection, because the moment you stop seeking approval, you reclaim your power, and that is when your true journey begins. From the moment you entered this world, the conditioning began. You were taught to follow the rules, to do what's expected, to make others happy. Society told you that your worth was measured by how well you fit in, how many people liked you, how much validation you could gather. And slowly, without even realizing it, you began to trade your authenticity for approval. It started in childhood. Maybe you were the one who was always different, the one who saw things others didn't. But instead of being celebrated for your uniqueness, you were told to be normal, to stop being so intense, to just go along with the crowd. And so, you learned to suppress your true self, to wear a mask, to play a role, to become what others expected of you. Then came school, where approval was tied to grades, popularity, and fitting into a system that was never designed for chosen ones. If you spoke up too much, you were told to be quiet. If you questioned things, you were labeled difficult. If you stood out, you were made to feel like an outsider. The world conditioned you to believe that in order to be loved, in order to be accepted, you had to conform. And for many, this pattern continued into adulthood, seeking approval from family, from friends, from bosses, from society. You became trapped in a cycle, constantly adjusting, constantly molding yourself into what others wanted, all while feeling the deep emptiness of not living as your true self. But here's the dangerous truth. The enemy uses this conditioning to keep chosen ones from stepping into their power. The more you seek approval, the further you drift from your divine purpose. The more you try to be accepted, the less you recognize your own worth. This world will always try to convince you that you are not enough, that you must do more, be more, prove more in order to be loved. But that is a lie, because real power, real freedom, comes when you finally realize you do not need their approval. You never did. You were chosen before the foundation of the world. Your mission was given to you by a higher authority, not by the opinions of others. And once you wake up to this truth, everything changes. So I ask you, how much longer will you keep waiting for permission to be who you were meant to be? The time has come to break free from the programming, to reclaim your identity, to stop looking outward for validation and start looking within. Because the moment you do, you will step into the power that has been waiting for you all along. There comes a moment in every chosen one's life when the weight of seeking approval becomes unbearable. You reach a crossroads where you must make a decision: continue shrinking yourself to fit the mold society has placed on you, or break free and step into your divine identity. And this decision is not an easy one. The need for validation is deeply ingrained. It has been programmed into you since birth. But when you finally awaken, when you finally see the truth, you realize something powerful. You were never meant to follow the crowd. You were meant to lead. This is where transformation begins. Because once you recognize the trap of seeking approval, you start to reclaim your power. You stop asking, "Will they accept me?" and start declaring, "I accept myself." You stop wondering, "Do they believe in me?" and start affirming, "God has already confirmed my purpose." You stop looking for permission to be great and realize you were born for greatness. But here's the truth that many are not ready for. When you stop seeking approval, the world will push back. The people who once praised you may suddenly turn against you. Friends may distance themselves. Family may not understand your path. And this is where many chosen ones hesitate, because walking in your power often means walking alone. But do not fear isolation. Every chosen one must go through the wilderness before stepping into their divine purpose. Look at the great ones throughout history. Moses had to leave Egypt. Joseph had to endure betrayal and imprisonment before reaching the throne. Even Jesus had to spend time alone in the wilderness before stepping fully into his mission. The separation isn't punishment, it's preparation. The wilderness is where you learn who you truly are. It is where you strip away the need for approval, the fear of rejection, the false identities you once carried. It is where you come face to face with your power and finally realize you never needed them to validate you. Your worth was decided before the foundation of the world. But here's the beauty of this journey. Once you break free, the right people will begin to find you. The ones who are meant to walk with you will recognize your light. They will not need you to shrink to make them comfortable. They will celebrate you as you rise. And those who cannot handle your elevation, they will fall away. And that is a blessing. Because once you stop living for others and start living in your truth, you will experience a level of peace, power, and freedom that cannot be taken away. You will walk with confidence, knowing that your worth is not defined by human opinions, but by divine purpose. So, ask yourself, are you ready to let go? Are you ready to stop seeking permission to be who you were always meant to be? Because the time is now. Your destiny is waiting. And the only approval you ever needed was already given to you the moment you were chosen. Once you stop seeking approval, something incredible happens. You begin to operate in your true power. No longer bound by the expectations of others, no longer weighed down by the need to conform. You start to see the world differently. You realize that the limitations placed upon you were never real. They were only as powerful as the belief you gave them. And now, you are free. Free to walk in your calling. Free to embrace your gifts. Free to live the life you were destined for. But here's what most people won't tell you. Stepping into your true power requires courage. It requires a level of boldness that many will not understand. You will no longer be able to blend in. You will no longer be able to silence your voice just to make others comfortable. Your light will shine too brightly, and not everyone will be able to handle it. The world has conditioned people to seek validation, to measure their worth by likes, follows, and the approval of others. But as a chosen one, you were never meant to play by those rules. You were meant to rise above the noise, to stand firm in your truth, to lead by example. And that means detaching from the opinions of the crowd and aligning yourself fully with your divine assignment. When you stop seeking approval, you stop being controlled. No one can manipulate you with rejection. No one can hold you back with disapproval. No one can make you feel small, because you no longer give them the power to define you. Instead, you draw your strength from within, from your faith, from your purpose, from the undeniable truth that you were created for something greater. And the moment you embrace this truth, the universe responds. Doors that were once closed begin to open. The opportunities that once seemed impossible start to manifest. The right people, your true tribe, those who recognize your purpose, will be drawn to you. Because when you no longer seek approval, you attract alignment. But understand this. Living in your true power will require sacrifice. You may have to leave behind relationships that no longer serve you. You may have to walk away from environments that stifle your growth. And that can be painful. But what is more painful? Living a life that is not yours. Wasting your potential trying to fit into spaces that were never meant for you. So I ask you now, are you willing to step into your power? Are you ready to embrace the path that was written for you before time began? Because the world does not need another person who is afraid to shine. The world needs you fully awake, fully empowered, fully walking in your purpose. This is your moment. The choice is yours. The time for seeking approval is over. The time for questioning your worth, doubting your path, and waiting for others to validate you has come to an end. You were not chosen to conform. You were chosen to lead. You were set apart before time began, given a unique calling, and equipped with everything you need to fulfill your purpose. The only thing left for you to do is step into it fully, unapologetically, and fearlessly. Understand this, the world will not always applaud your growth. Not everyone will celebrate your awakening. Some will misunderstand you. Some will resent you. Some will even try to pull you back into the version of yourself they were comfortable with. But you are not here to live for them. You are here to fulfill your divine assignment. You no longer need permission to be great. You no longer need validation to know your worth. You were created with purpose, crafted with intention, and set apart for something far greater than you can even imagine. Walk boldly in that truth. Stand firm in your power. Trust that everything you have endured was preparing you for this moment. And if you ever find yourself doubting, if you ever feel tempted to shrink back into the old patterns of seeking approval, remember who you are. Remember the fire that burns inside you. Remember that the only validation you ever needed was already given to you by the Creator Himself. This is your season of breakthrough. This is your moment to rise. No more waiting. No more hesitating. Step forward, chosen one, and embrace the destiny that was always meant for you. Chosen one, listen carefully. Your struggle has not gone unnoticed. Every sleepless night, every painful setback, every moment of doubt, it was all seen, all recorded, all accounted for. And now, the message is clear. You have already won. Your victory has been sealed by God Himself. For too long, you have fought battles in silence. You have carried burdens that no one else could see. You've been misunderstood, overlooked, and even betrayed by those who were supposed to stand with you. And yet, you endured. You pressed forward even when the weight was unbearable. But the truth is, you were never fighting alone. God has been walking with you through every storm, every hardship, every dark valley, and while you were busy trying to survive, God was already preparing your victory. The world told you that you had to earn it, that you had to prove yourself worthy, that you had to struggle your way to the top. But here's the truth. The price has already been paid in full. The debt is cleared. The battle is over. But why, then, do so many of God's chosen ones still live as if they are fighting for something they already possess? Why do you still feel stuck in survival mode when you have already been crowned victorious? It's because the enemy doesn't want you to wake up to who you truly are. The moment you realize that your success, your breakthrough, and your elevation have already been secured, the chains will break, fear will dissolve, struggle will end, and you will finally step into the fullness of your destiny. You were not created to live in lack. You were not meant to scrape and beg for what is already yours. You are a child of the Most High. You are chosen. You are anointed. And now, it's time for you to claim the victory that was written in your name before time began. In this message, I am going to reveal to you why the struggles you have faced were never about breaking you. They were about preparing you. I will show you why God's divine plan for you is already unfolding, why everything you lost is about to be restored, and why your suffering was never a punishment, it was a setup for something greater. So stay with me, open your heart, because by the end of this message, you will never see your life the same way again. The war is over. You've already won. And now, it's time to walk boldly into your divine inheritance. For years, you have carried the weight of the struggle on your shoulders. You have been told that success, peace, and blessings only come through hardship and sacrifice. You have fought battles you never should have fought, chasing after things that were already destined to be yours. And yet, no matter how hard you try, it always feels like something is missing, like you're still one step away from true victory. But what if I told you that the victory is already won, that the war is already over, and that you are simply walking in the footsteps of what has already been secured for you? The world has conditioned you to believe that if you're not constantly struggling, constantly grinding, constantly proving yourself, then you don't deserve the reward. But let me ask you this: when did God ever say that your worth was tied to your effort? When did He say that your blessings were something you had to chase? The Lord will fight for you. You need only to be still. Exodus 14:14. The enemy knows that if he can keep you in a mindset of struggle, he can keep you from stepping into your divine inheritance. He knows that if you believe you always have to work harder, push further, and prove your worth, you will never take hold of the promises God has already given you. He wants you to think that you are still in the wilderness, when in reality, the promised land is already beneath your feet. Think about it when a child of a king is born. Do they have to beg for their inheritance? Do they have to fight to prove that they are worthy of their birthright? No, they are born into it. It is their identity. And as a chosen one, you were born into spiritual royalty. You were set apart before time began. You don't have to strive for favor. You don't have to hustle for blessings. You don't have to seek validation from a world that will never understand who you truly are. You only have to claim what has already been given to you. But here's the problem: the enemy doesn't want you to know that. He wants to keep you trapped in a cycle of frustration, exhaustion, and doubt. He wants to make you believe that if you're not constantly in battle, then you're doing something wrong. But that is a deception. God never called you to live in constant struggle. Yes, there are seasons of testing, seasons of refinement, and moments where faith is required. But God never meant for you to carry the weight of your destiny alone. He never meant for you to live in fear, uncertainty, or lack. Your inheritance was secured before you were even born. Your victory was already written in the heavens. And yet, how many of us continue to chase what is already ours? How many of us wake up each day believing that we still have to prove something to God? That we have to earn His love, His provision, His miracles? Let me tell you something today. You don't have to earn what has already been paid in full. It is finished. John 19:30, when Jesus spoke those words on the cross, He wasn't just talking about salvation, He was talking about the fulfillment of every promise, every blessing, every breakthrough that was meant for you. It was already sealed in the heavens. The contract was signed, the debt was cleared, and the victory was secured. So why do you still live as if you are in bondage? Why do you still walk as if you are defeated? You are not a slave to struggle. You are not a servant begging for scraps. You are a child of God, an heir to the kingdom, and your Father has already declared that you are victorious. But the final step, the only thing left for you to do is to believe it. You must break free from the illusion that you are still fighting for your place. You are already seated in heavenly places. You are already called, already chosen, already blessed. But until you recognize that truth, you will continue to live as if you are still lost. So today, I am calling you to step into your birthright. Stop striving, stop doubting, stop living in the past as if your future isn't already secured. The moment you shift your mindset from lack to abundance, from struggle to surrender, from doubt to trust, everything will change. God is waiting for you to stop chasing and start receiving. He is waiting for you to stand up, take your rightful place, and walk in the victory that has already been won for you. The doors that seemed locked will suddenly open. The blessings that felt delayed will pour into your life. And you will finally understand you were never meant to struggle for what was always yours. How many times have you felt like you weren't doing enough? Like no matter how much you pray, work, or strive, it's still not enough to get ahead. Maybe you've been carrying the weight of your past, feeling like you still need to make up for old mistakes. Maybe you've been conditioned to believe that blessings are only for those who earn them. But let me tell you this, that is a lie. You see, the enemy wants you to believe that you still have a debt to pay, that you still have to prove your worth to God. But the truth is, your debt was paid in full long before you ever took your first breath. He canceled the record of the charges against us and took it away by nailing it to the cross. Colossians 2:14, when Jesus said, "It is finished," He meant it. Not halfway done, not partially paid, completely finished. The spiritual price for your breakthrough, your healing, your financial provision, your destiny, it was all settled in full. The chains of lack and struggle were broken the moment he declared victory. But here's where many of us get stuck. We keep acting like we still owe something. Think about it like this. Imagine you were drowning in debt, struggling to make ends meet, and someone out of pure love came and paid off every single cent you owed. No conditions, no strings attached, but instead of accepting the gift, you kept living as if you were still in debt. You kept stressing over bills that no longer existed. You kept holding yourself back from opportunities because you believed you were still financially stuck. That's exactly how many chosen ones live their lives. You've been set free, but you're still living like a prisoner. You've been given victory, but you're still walking as if you're in battle. Why? Because the world has trained you to believe that nothing comes without struggle. The enemy doesn't want you to realize that you can walk in power right now, that you don't have to wait for one day to experience the fullness of God's provision. He wants to keep you in survival mode, always chasing, always seeking, never realizing that you are already standing on holy ground. The Lord is my shepherd, I lack nothing. Psalm 23:1. Not I will lack nothing someday. Not if I work hard enough. I won't lack anything. No, you lack nothing right now. But the key is, you have to believe it and start living accordingly. Look around at your life. What have you been delaying because you think you're not ready? What have you been postponing because you believe you still need to earn your breakthrough? What if I told you that the only thing standing between you and your next level is your mindset? Your finances, already secured. Your purpose, already written. Your destiny, already sealed. But if you keep operating from a place of fear, lack, and self-doubt, you will never step into the abundance that has already been assigned to you. You must renew your mind and let go of the false belief that you are still paying a price that has already been paid. This is why the enemy works so hard to keep chosen ones distracted, confused, and uncertain. He knows that the moment you wake up and realize that you've already won, his control over you is broken forever. He will try to make you feel unworthy. He will try to remind you of your past failures. He will try to convince you that you have to struggle a little longer. But hear me when I say this, the price has already been paid. The time of waiting is over. Right now, you have a choice. You can either continue living as if you still owe something, or you can step into the divine truth that everything you need is already yours. God is not waiting for you to prove yourself, He is waiting for you to believe. Because the moment you shift your perspective, the blessings that have been held back will come rushing in. The doors that seemed impossible to open will swing wide, and you will finally walk in the fullness of the inheritance that was always meant for you. You are not a servant trying to earn favor. You are a child of God, stepping into what has already been given. So now that you understand the price has already been paid, the real question is, why aren't you living in your inheritance? Many chosen ones are still stuck in survival mode because they've been conditioned to believe that blessings must be earned through endless struggle. But let me tell you this, your inheritance is not something you have to fight for. It is something you must step into. Think about a prince or princess born into royalty. The moment they are born, they are already heirs to the throne. They don't have to beg for their position. They don't have to prove themselves worthy. Their birthright has already secured their future. But imagine if that prince or princess refused to claim their throne, instead choosing to live as a commoner, struggling day after day because they didn't believe they were truly royalty. That's exactly what many chosen ones are doing right now. God has already declared you victorious, but if you don't believe it, if you don't claim it, if you don't walk in the authority given to you, then you will continue to live beneath your true Calling, do not be afraid, little flock, for your Father has been pleased to give you the kingdom. Luke 12:32. Not will give you, not might give you if you work hard enough, has given you. So why are so many of God's chosen ones still struggling financially, emotionally, and spiritually? Because the enemy has convinced them to stay in a mindset of lack rather than step into a mindset of abundance. Breaking free from the scarcity mindset, the biggest weapon the enemy uses against chosen ones is the lie of scarcity. He wants you to believe there isn't enough for you. Your blessings are far away. You have to fight and struggle just to survive. You will always be behind. But let me tell you, this scarcity is an illusion. The moment you shift your mindset, the moment you begin to operate in faith instead of fear, doors will open that you never imagined. Look at the story of the Israelites in the wilderness. God had already promised them the land flowing with milk and honey. Yet many of them doubted and complained. Instead of walking into their inheritance, they wandered in the desert for 40 years, not because God was holding back, but because they refused to believe. Are you still wandering in your own wilderness? How many opportunities have passed you by because you doubted yourself? How many times has God given you the vision, but you hesitated because you didn't feel ready? How long will you allow fear to keep you from your promised land? You are already wealthy, but you must walk in it. Wealth is not just money, it's a state of being. A wealthy person walks differently. They think differently. They expect abundance, and because of that, they attract it. But a person with a poverty mindset will always repel blessings, even when God is trying to give them. It's time to shift from a survival mentality to a kingdom mentality. Stop speaking doubt over your future. Stop believing that success is only for other people. Stop playing small because you're afraid of stepping into your true calling. God has already written your victory. The only thing left for you to do is walk in it. Your faith activates your breakthrough. Your blessings are waiting for you, but they require faith to be unlocked. According to your faith, let it be done to you. Matthew 9:29. This is why so many chosen ones feel stuck. They are waiting for proof before they believe. But that's not how faith works. Faith is stepping forward before you see the evidence. Faith is claiming your breakthrough before it appears. Faith is believing the door will open before you even knock. If you keep waiting for everything to be perfect before you take action, you will stay exactly where you are. God is saying, move and I will provide. Step forward and the way will be made clear. You are not meant to stay stuck. You are not meant to struggle forever. You are destined for greatness, but greatness requires boldness. Are you ready to claim what's already yours? Then it's time to take action. Your inheritance is waiting. Now that you understand your inheritance is already secured, the next step is to fully embody the person God created you to be. This is where many chosen ones struggle, not because they lack faith, but because they hesitate to step into their true power. It's one thing to know that God has already paid the price for your breakthrough. It's another thing to walk boldly in that truth every single day. Many chosen ones hold themselves back because they are afraid of outgrowing their environment. They worry about what others will think. They fear being misunderstood, losing friendships, or stepping into the unknown. But you cannot live in divine abundance while still clinging to the old version of yourself. No one puts new wine into old wineskins. Mark 2:22. If you want to receive new blessings, you must become the person who is ready to receive them. The shift from waiting to walking. Too many chosen ones are still waiting for something to happen. They pray for a breakthrough but hesitate when opportunities arise. They ask God for increase, but shrink back when responsibility comes with it. But true abundance requires you to walk in it before you fully see it. You must speak as if you are already victorious. You must act as if you are already successful. You must move as if every door is already open for you. God is not asking you to have everything figured out. He is asking you to trust Him and take the first step. Think about Peter walking on water. The moment he stepped out of the boat, he was defying everything the natural world said was possible. But the second he let fear creep in, he started sinking. The same applies to you. If you keep doubting yourself, if you keep questioning whether you are worthy of your blessings, you will always struggle. But the moment you trust, the moment you step forward with confidence, the supernatural begins to work in your favor. Letting go of the fear of success, one of the biggest things keeping chosen ones from stepping into divine abundance, is the fear of success. Yes, you heard that right. It's not just failure that people fear, it's the responsibility, the visibility, and the expectations that come with success. When God elevates you, things will change. You will no longer fit into the spaces you once did. People will start looking to you as a leader. Some will celebrate you, but others will try to pull you back into the old version of yourself. Are you ready for that? The question isn't whether God wants to bless you, the question is whether you are truly ready to receive it. Are you ready to handle the weight of your calling? Are you ready to lose people who can't handle your growth? Are you ready to break free from the comfort of mediocrity? Because the moment you say yes, things will start shifting fast. Your abundance will be a testimony, chosen ones. Your success is not just for you. Your breakthrough is meant to be a testimony to others. There are people watching you right now who don't even realize what God is about to do in your life. They have doubted you, underestimated you, and even spoken against you. But when they see what God does for you, they will have no choice but to believe. You prepare a table before me in the presence of my enemies. Psalm 23:5. God is not just going to bless you, He is going to do it publicly. Your story will inspire others to step into their own calling. Your transformation will remind people that God is still working miracles. Your testimony will open doors for others who are still trapped in fear and doubt. So stop questioning whether you are ready. Stop waiting for permission. You have already been chosen. Your victory has already been won. It's time to walk in it. Chosen ones, this is your confirmation. The struggles, the tests, the setbacks, they were never meant to break you. They were designed to prepare you. Every obstacle you've faced, every tear you've shed, and every battle you've fought has led you to this moment. You don't have to keep waiting for a breakthrough, it has already been given to you. God has already paid the price. Your success, your abundance, your divine purpose, it's already yours. But now, the choice is in your hands. Will you step boldly into the life God has prepared for you? Or will you allow fear, doubt, and the opinions of others to hold you back? This is your time to rise. You were never meant to fit in. You were never meant to follow the crowd. You were set apart for something greater. The world may not have recognized you yet, but heaven already has. You are a child of God, anointed, appointed, and chosen for such a time as this. So walk in faith, speak with authority, move as if every door has already been opened, because in the spiritual realm, it has. Your testimony is being written. And soon, everyone who doubted you will have no choice but to see the undeniable power of God working in your life. Your victory is already won. Now, go claim it.